no collusion. I have no idea when it's going to be released. It's interesting that a man gets appointed by a deputy. He writes a report. You know, never figured that one out. Man gets appointed by a deputy. He writes a report. I had the greatest electoral victory, one of them in the history of our country. Tremendous success, tens of millions of voters, and now somebody's going to write a report who never got a vote. So we'll see what the report says. Let's see if it's fair. I have no idea when it's going to be released.
It's Mueller time. I'm Barry Gordon.
And I'm Andre Coleman.
And this is NewsRap live at 5. Well, it's here. Yay! No, maybe not.
I don't know what's... It's a bunch of pieces of paper, but it's nothing.
Right now, it's nothing. We don't know what it... Well, we know what it isn't, right? We know that there are no more indictments.
And there are no sealed indictments.
And there are no sealed indictments, apparently, unless they go out at, midnight.
Under the cover of darkness.
And, yeah. So that means that the kids are off the hook.
And the son-in-law.
And that probably means that, you can't have a conspiracy of one. So I'm not so sure,
well,
we got a conspiracy here, right?
Well, right now, he's getting away with it, is effectively where we are.
Maybe, yeah.
Until maybe something else happens in one of the courts. He has a victory here, and he don't like it, but he should take his victory lap. And he will. I guarantee you he will.
Yeah, he will. And this is where the danger of what Nancy Pelosi said
exactly
comes in, right? Because by her saying, wait for the Mueller report, and if there are crimes, if there's something compelling, we'll reconsider, but otherwise impeachment is off the table, basically means impeachment is off the table.
It's like this table right here.
Yeah.
It's off the table.
Off the table.
There's nothing there. But this is also another precarious, we were talking about this before, situation for the Dems. Because these demands of immediate transparency, and I'm all for transparency, but don't create another conspiracy that there's not immediate transparency. Because if this is he did absolutely nothing wrong, he's going to simply go, okay, I'm going to show it to everybody.
Yeah.
Here you go. And then he will go back to witch hunt. He will talk about how much it cost, how long this went on. And there really is no response that they will have in that position.
Do we believe that he did absolutely nothing wrong?
I believe he's dirty as hell and he should be in jail.
Right.
That's what I believe.
So do you think this report will actually say he did nothing wrong? Or do you think the report is going to say we can't get him on a crime, either because we couldn't connect the dots or because we can't indict a sitting president? I mean, remember, we're talking about Mueller.
Right.
And Mueller, everyone said one thing about Mueller. He's by the book. He's a by-the-book guy, right?
Not distracted by shiny things over here or over here.
Right. So
Focus.
The DOJ, from the beginning, had a policy. You don't indict a sitting president. My guess is that Mueller started with that assumption.
Which hampers the report, because you then go to, why would he subpoena him?
He didn't.
And he didn't.
He did not subpoena
Apparently,
him.
I saw one report that said he wasn't asking any questions about collusion. I'm sorry, about
obstruction.
About obstruction.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his lawyers went through a lot to control the tone of the questions and those kind of things. He wasn't under oath when he answered the questions.
That's right.
So, because they kept saying perjure, trap this, perjure, trap that.
That's right.
So, here we go.
So,
Question.
big news. We don't know what it is, but it's big news. So join the conversation. We're right here. You can join us at Facebook at Pasadena Media, right?
Smile Ladies in the room.
Oh, that's nice. So Facebook at Pasadena Media is the way you find us. Please follow us also at NewsRap Pass. I'm not going to make the other mistake that I've made. And you know what it is. I'm not repeating it. NewsRap Pass. You can also catch old episodes on the Pasadena Media, but right now we want you to join this new episode. We want you to be with us, like us,
live and in
subscribe,
progress,
but most particularly comment. And we do have a comment from James Farr.
All right.
What about the New York investigation? Well, I think, of course, that's a great point. There's a lot hanging out there besides collusion. And the fact is that that's not over. So,
two investigations.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's also the New York State investigation that cranked up.
Right.
And I've always said that it's greed that's going to get him because he does everything to line his pockets.
So tax evasion.
Bank fraud, whatever that list is. Right now, I don't know where the campaign finance violation disappeared to because we know that he was named individual one in doing this Stormy Daniels payment, which was an illegal use of money. It was an illegal campaign contribution. So the question is still out there on that.
Well, I think that the state investigation is the best hope because
it might be.
Right now where we are.
Because it's unpardonable.
Exactly. And right now where we are, if there's no obstruction, he can, and he hasn't been accused, Manafort, correct me if I'm wrong, in the Manafort charges, the Manafort charges didn't deal with any of the Russia stuff or any of that, right?
Right.
So Trump could start handing out pardons today, right now.
Yeah.
And we're not looking at obstruction.
Yep.
At this point. So we got to look at the state. The state is the best hope for an indictment or for charges that people will actually pay for. Because, you know, where they have been smart and strategic, by not using pardons now, they got a whole investigation out of the way.
That's right.
So now when the Southern District comes around, he may toss out a pardon here or there.
Right.
If need be. But it's going to be the state. That's where I think the whole family is in danger.
We will see. At this point, it's really hard to know. It's very, very hard to know what's going to happen from here on out. I think you're right. I think he's going to do a victory lap.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably.
I'd do a big, and collusion's not a crime. Mm-hmm. So even if it's, he may have or he almost colluded, but this is the one.
And normally you don't need a crime to impeach, but Nancy Pelosi has kind of said you do.
Well,
so here we are with that, right?
And look, this is the problem with our current government. One side of Congress is backing and supporting a crime family.
Right.
The other side won't do anything about that because they want to be the cool kids and they're afraid they can't sit in the best seats in the cafeteria if they stand up to it.
That's right.
So the system is worthless right now. Unless somebody stands up and does something about this, what's the point?
Right. And, of course, Smile Lady says something that we all know, which is collusion is not a crime.
That's right.
100% right.
But if you conspire within that collusion, or you perjure yourself about that collusion, there are still crimes within that act that could happen.
So this is pure speculation at this point. What were we dealing with? We have 6 people who pleaded guilty.
Okay.
So what were we dealing with? 6 pathological liars who all on their own reached out to Russia.
And nobody knew about what the other person was doing?
Nobody knew what the other person was doing, or they were lying about reaching out to Russia, or they were trying to get on I'm looking for an alternative explanation.
So you're inviting people
and
to-
I'm not finding it yet.
So you're inviting people to prove his innocence or give us an explanation of how all of this happened through osmosis or something like that.
He doesn't have to prove his innocence
At this point?
on a legal basis. But the question is that enough for the Congress?
Oh, yeah. The Stormy Daniels payout would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are things out there that he already could be impeached on.
And Smile Lady is saying too many careers at stake. So sad.
Which careers? Are we talking about the
Yeah.
people who worked with Trump? Are we talking about Mueller? I mean, whose career? Pelosi?
It's a good question.
I mean, there are a lot of people with a lot to lose in this.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you this. If this guy is reelected in 2020 by a nice margin, I won't even say an overwhelming margin. Let's say he's reelected in 2020 by a nice margin.
Right.
It could be the end of Pelosi and others.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why one of the biggest mistakes they made, taking impeachment off the table.
Right.
They didn't have to play that hand that way. They could have kept that in between themselves and say, okay, we're going to act and we're going to make these moves. And I still agree with you that they are making moves to impeach already without a vote. But that just got a lot harder.
Well, it's interesting. The Smile Lady just said we need new doctors. On the serious side, his doctors need to be fired. There are mental issues. And interestingly enough, before the Mueller report dropped,
Right.
that's what we were going to talk about.
That comment would have been perfect.
That's right. And so tune in next week.
And
because we're absolutely going to talk about
you'll hear
that.
Barry diagnose this president.
I've got the papers right here. Here we go.
This is the doctor they need.
Here are the
right
symptoms, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about all of that, the George Conway stuff. And because you're 100% right. There are mental issues. And someone should be removed for mental issues. But I don't know. I mean, he's so far, his ability to avoid any accountability has been staggering to me. And
you know why?
And you raised something in the green room that I think is really important, which is, what does that say about America?
Yeah.
What does that say about our institutions
Yeah.
and how they function? Because something got away from us.
Yeah, big time.
And the executive was never supposed to have that kind of power where they could deny Congress all of this information. This whole idea of executive privilege has always sort of been there, but it never really came to the fore until Nixon. And what we're really saying is the more wrongdoing a president does, the more tools a president has to avoid it. Because if a president wants to be open and transparent and feels that's part of the job, and they don't use executive privilege that frequently, right?
Right.
You don't really have a major problem. It's when a president wants to act in an authoritarian way, what we're discovering is that the so-called norms, rather than laws, the norms don't work.
At all. You know what?
They don't work.
One of the things, this is the mistake I've made.
And before you get there, let me address Gustak here, because he says, I thought you weren't supposed to make money from your business while in office. And you see, that's again what I've been saying is, if he's going to have an Achilles heel, it's going to be a financial crime.
Right.
And it's going to be while he's in office, whether it's the skyscraper in Russia, whether it's screwing around with the Trump Foundation, whether it's lining his pockets through the inauguration. We don't know.
Right.
But he's a greedy guy.
Oh, yeah. Not only that, but his ego will drive him to a point, if he was going to take the money or pull something like that, where he would not stop at all to consider repercussions.
That's right.
Because he has not faced any. And I'm going to tell you why he hasn't faced any. the Democrats, man, have to be willing to handle up on this guy. The Republicans would not let Carter,
Yeah.
Clinton, definitely not Obama,
No way.
go for 2 years if they believed for a minute that he was a foreign asset.
No way.
If they believed he committed a campaign violation, if they even just believed he slept with the porn star alone.
And by the way, the Republicans would find if it was a complete reversal, let's say they had the same numbers that in the House that Pelosi has, and maybe the same numbers in the Senate, right, that they have. The Republicans would probably find enough Democrats
Easily.
to kick him out of office.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
But the big problem is, look, the Republicans would have never said Mitch McConnell, Boehner, Ryan. They would have never gone on TV and said impeachment is off the table.
No, that's right.
They never would have said it.
That's right. And we do have a last comment from Jamie Farr before we go to our news brief. Do we really want VP Pence?
I love this question.
Heck no. But if you've got a crazy president or you've got a venal president or a corrupt president, then guess what? That's what you're going to have.
Well, I say it like this. You don't let cancer fester because you're worried about mental illness or leukemia or Alzheimer's. Trump's got to go. And then we can deal with Pence when we need to deal with Pence.
Right.
You can't just go just because the next guy is bad. We got to keep this guy. That's why Quayle was the VP. That's why Cheney was a VP.
That's right.
Because everybody knew, hey, this will make the main guy look a lot better.
That's right.
If we have a guy behind him nobody wants.
That's right.
We just have to deal with him.
We got a news brief with local stuff. Let's look at it.
All right.
Pasadena Police Chief John Perez reported Wednesday that police seized $788,089 worth of assets from forfeitures in the 2019 fiscal year. This is a 2,624% increase over asset forfeitures from the prior fiscal year, a spike that has some Pasadena residents asking if the funds are going back into the city. John Kennedy, the chairman of the Public Safety Committee, is one of the many residents questioning the integrity behind the sudden spike in forfeitures. In the past, asset forfeiture funds were invested in police department resources such as undercover cars, surveillance equipment, and narcotics dogs. It has not been clarified whether the spike in asset forfeiture is connected to the recent raids on unlicensed medical and recreational cannabis dispensaries in Pasadena.
A cycling accident at the Rose Bowl Loop has called to question Pasadena's new safety plan for the area. Currently, cones are set up forcing cyclists to speed through in a single file line. The incident allegedly occurred when a group of cyclists bunched together at high speeds trying to make the narrow fit. Witnesses say that Steve Mermel, city manager, rearranged the cones at the time of the accident. In the Pasadena Star News, Lisa Derderian, Pasadena's public information officer, denied the speculation. There has been back and forth between loop visitors and the city on the best strategy to keep all of the loop's traffic safe.
Another racehorse has died at Santa Anita Park. It's the 22nd horse to be put down.
Congresswoman Judy Chu has requested a congressional investigation into the treatment of horses due to the Santa Anita racetrack deaths of 22 horses. Experts believe the death number has doubled since 2018 because of the heavy rain providing a poor racetrack, while activists suspect malpractice with the horses' health. Santa Anita has been temporarily shut down.
That's a count.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but too soon. 22?
22.
What is with that? What's going on?
Well, Peter's making the claim that it's the drugs, it's the whipping the horses.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not smiling about it, but your beat a dead horse comment is still in my mind. I'm trying to push that out while I'm talking.
No, I know.
And then every time after it rains, they pack dirt into the track.
Yeah.
And so it makes the track super, super hard.
Okay.
We've had a lot of rain, so the track has really been packed. And, you know, one of the things people don't know about horses, Barry, is that they have no muscles below the thigh. It's just ligaments and tendons. And then the powerful muscles above, that's horsepower. So they don't get fractures. They get their legs shatter, pretty much, which is why they have to be put down. And the other reason they have to be put down, on the rare occasions that they just get fractures, they have to move. and it's hard to you can't keep the horse still long enough for it to heal properly.
The reason I have a problem with the abuse hypothesis is that my understanding, and I don't know that much about horse racing, but my understanding is that it's the same trainers, the same jockeys, and they go all around the country. So why is it all
been there? Right.
So why is it all happening in Santa Anita?
And that's a good point. I'll tell you this before we move on. Here's what they really need to worry about. Mm-hmm. Did you ever see the documentary Blackfish?
No.
About the orcas at SeaWorld?
No.
CNN,
heard of it, but I never saw it.
CNN ran that documentary probably 10, 15 times a couple of years ago to show that, the abuse the orcas went through, the small cages they were living in, how many of the orcas died in captivity. And it pretty much, after that started getting out, people refused to perform at SeaWorld. Schools stopped taking trips to SeaWorld. Attendance dropped. You see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Whatever is going on, they better clean it up really fast.
Yep.
Greyhound racing's already been banned in Florida.
Yeah.
Last year in 2008 in an election. The voters got rid of it. That can happen here. The voters have the right, have the power to end horse racing.
It's 22 horses in what period of time?
Since December. Not only that, this will really burn your biscuit, pal. They temporarily closed the track for a week. When they opened it, within 5 days, 2 more horses had to be put down. Then they closed it indefinitely. They opened it, 22nd horse had an issue. A couple days later, had to be put down.
That's an unsafe track.
Now they're reopening it on the 29th.
That's
1 week from now, they're reopening the track. So
that is a very unsafe
if they don't have it together,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about this again and again and
Yeah.
again, and some action's going to be taken.
Yeah.
On the bike thing that
Yeah.
we talked about, the line was funny. The guy said Steve Mermel changed the cones.
Yeah, I could just see him out
You could
there
just see
moving
Mermel
the cones.
moving the cones
I
around
don't
in a
know
new
what that meant. Yeah.
in a new configuration.
Yeah.
There was a tape online that showed that one of the bikers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say there was like a shot of
Mermel.
Steve Mermel, in the middle of the night.
If they play that
moving
again,
cones.
if they play
Yeah.
that part of the clip again, you might be able to see it. One of the bikers knocked down a cone right before that accident. So one of the bikers may have actually caused the accident, not Mermel or somebody from the
And
city.
you could see that in the clip?
I thought I saw the cone when I looked at it. I saw it
interesting.
online slowed down last night.
Interesting.
So, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, there are the cones. All right, there's the turn. Good shots, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the South puts together some great packages for us.
Yep.
Some amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, we didn't get to the part where the guy fell.
We didn't see it.
But it
Okay.
looked like there was something on the ground next to...
I saw something on the ground.
It was orange or red.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. No, I thought I saw something on the ground. By the way, we are not ignoring your comments. We're
Wait,
kind
they're
of...
up. Go back. It was just on the screen.
Oh. Okay. Then they saw it.
We didn't see it.
I didn't, but
saw
they
it.
saw it. Okay.
We missed it.
We missed it. Okay.
All right.
But what I was saying is we are not ignoring your comments, and we've got a ton of them. So we will come to them as soon as we wrap the show.
Right.
And we will talk more about the Mueller Report and your comments and whatever else you want to talk about when we go to Facebook.
Come on, riding a horse is abuse.
After our live stream.
If you
So
wanna get-
don't go away, because we're going to be continuing the conversation there.
So I see a smile lady question. Come on, riding a horse is abuse. If you want to get technical, am I missing something? I don't know if it's riding the horse. It might be running the horse over and
Yeah.
over and over on a track that's too hard like cement. If people run on cement too much, knee problems, leg issues, bone spurs, things like that. So it's entirely possible.
And James actually does have a comment on this. He says the surplus 800,000
From the cops.
from forfeit search. Oh, we're back to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forfeit seizures should not go to more equipment, and over time, that revenue should be repurposed for community programs, homeless, and schools.
I think that's something definitely
And that's always a great idea.
that council and public safety should talk about where the money's going.
Right.
On that. I mean, city funds. Talk about what to do with it. So. Oh, one more.
And why that 2,000% increase? What is that about?
That's something that has to be answered. I mean, the number is huge.
So are we having our own transparency issue in Pasadena?
I haven't asked for yet. I do plan on it. I haven't asked yet for a reason for the increase, for the spike, and I'm sure John Perez will tell me. But it will be interesting to see what happened from last year to this year.
Yeah,
that accounts for those numbers.
All right.
All right.
All right. Can we take one last comment? We probably don't
Gustock.
quite have time. What is Gustock saying?
I bet Mermel was out there in his suit moving cones. Please, who the heck said that? It was right there on the brief, man. I mean,
that's right.
James Farr says about your comment too soon. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah,
all right.
Okay. So I think that's it for this portion. We're going to be moving to Facebook.
All right. Let's do it, man.
And we'll be back next week to talk about whether President Trump is a whack job. I think we all know he is, but let's really get into it.
You should come in your doctor stuff.
I know.
With
I
your
know. I
stethoscope
should.
on and all
I
that
know.
stuff.
So, I'm Barry Gordon.
And I'm Andre Coleman.
And this has been NewsRap Live at 5.
Have a great weekend.
Yes.